Hello everyone, this is Nimish. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to review the movie Kaala, which is Rajinikanth's new movie that has been released all over India in 3 different languages, Tamil, Telugu and Hindi, and it is of course a very much awaited film after Kabali, which was in 2016. So 2 years later we have Rajinikanth back on screen, and I was super excited for this movie right from when the posters started and the promo started, much more than even 2.0, because this seemed like a proper entertainer of sorts and it seemed like a realistic based movie. So I just watched the movie some time back, and I want to start out by saying that the Rajinikanth is in top form. So if you want to watch him perform and outperform himself and do an amazing job with high energy levels and like a brilliant on point performance, definitely go and watch this. It is something that I feel is very impactful after a long time. I think this movie does justice to the charisma of Rajinikanth and the character of Rajinikanth. So I think his performance was really good. It's not just about giving power punch dialogues, but even in scenes where he wouldn't speak a lot and he would just emote with his eyes or give subtle nuances, it was really amazing to watch. So I loved his performance and he was just in top form. This can't get better if you're a Rajinikanth fan, or if you want to watch an actor that is just in, amazing form. So definitely watch it for him. Secondly, Nana Patekar did an amazing job as the villain. He was super creepy and super villainous with his complete subtlety without speaking much again, and it was just amazing how he was portrayed and how his character played out. He even dubbed himself for the Tamil version. Since I don't speak Tamil, I can't say whether he did a good job of that or not, but I think that performance wise and body language wise and just the character of being the evil politician, he did that really well, and I think he was outstanding. Kant's son is played by Manikandan, who did again an extremely natural job, and I think he was really good. And these 3 people are the primary cast of the movie, and of course there's Samuthirkani as a friend. His role doesn't have much importance or length, but he did his part very well too. He is an amazing actor and one of the best in this movie as well. So these 4 people from the primary cast. Then there's Rajinikanth's wife, there's Huma Qureshi and other supporting cast who everyone did their job perfectly well, I think, and nothing seemed out of place. So the casting was really done well, and I thoroughly enjoyed all the acting aspect of this movie. In terms of storyline, it is an age-old story about how the politicians want land and how, the tussle happens between the poor people and the evil, corrupt politicians. And there are a couple of messages thrown in there which once you watch the movie, you'll understand better. But in general, the story is nothing new. However, it is very interesting to watch throughout. Not a single moment where you really feel like you're bored or anything like that, which might have happened to a couple of people in Kabali. But over here, there's no such thing. It's completely entertaining. It has all the elements that you would want from Rajinikanth if you're his kind of mass follower, or if you want a good movie. Either ways, you're going to get a lot of Rajiniism in this movie, and I think that was really great. And the story is really interesting. Even though it is an age-old kind of story, it is presented in a manner that keeps you entertained and engaged. It is also based in the Dharavi slums, and I think that the slum life and the slum kind of area has been captured very well. Since I've lived in Bombay for a while, I know how these slum areas look, and that has been captured very well. So kudos to the people who did the recce and found the locations and everything. They did a really good job. The action sequences are good enough, I would say. There's not a lot of eye-catching action or anything of that sort, but whatever is in there is good enough. It's realistic, except for one sequence which is the primary Rajinikanth action sequence, which is an umbrella fight, which is entertaining to watch, but again, it's not realistic, so it's just kind of for entertainment purposes for the build up to the interval block. The interval block is also very exciting and entertaining. However, I feel like the impact of the interval block could have been a little more, because it didn't feel like it came across very well. But definitely the movie has been presented in an extremely entertaining and engaging manner. One interesting fact that I found about this movie while watching it is that Kaala, who is of course Rajinikanth, dresses up primarily in black throughout the movie. He probably wears blue at a certain points, but he never goes to wear lighter shades like white or anything like that. Whereas the villain, Nana Patekar, so-called villain in this movie, Nana Patekar, wears white throughout the movie, and this is a complete opposite of what you would normally see, because normally heroes are dressed in, you know, white and villains are black, and the good character is white, the bad character is black. So this is a complete role reversal. There are a lot of references to Ravana, and Rajinikanth represents Ravana. And as you would see in this movie, obviously, and this is not a spoiler, but even if you watch the promos, you would know that Rajinikanth is the hero, not the villain. So it is the director's alternate take on, you know, his own version of what is Ravan and what is Ram, and, you know, how the circumstances are that make them so. And so it was very interesting to watch the director's perspective on the whole presentation in an artistic format with colors used therein thoroughly. Even in the climax sequences, black, red and blue are the primary colors in which it is shot, and it's something that is really appeasing to the eyes. So definitely watch the whole movie, and, you know, even if you're not enjoying it as much, don't walk out, because that climax sequence is visually very entertaining and stunning as well. One downside, however, that most people might be already saying who have watched it would agree, is that it definitely feels a little longer than it should be. It could have been trimmed down by at least 20-25 minutes. It didn't need to be this long. In the first half, there are a lot of places where there's over kind of elaboration on the family life and on Rajinikanth's simpleton life, but in the second half there's some over elaboration on the whole tussle between the people versus the government or the politicians, and the action sequence is a little more stretched out. So there would have been it's a very easy movie to trim, and they should have trimmed it down, because in today's world watching movies this long is just naturally very difficult, and, you know, we are all evolving, and 2-hour 45-minute movies are really not the norm anymore. So if a movie has to be that long, it has to be that much more entertaining, and Kaala is definitely feels long, so they could have trimmed it. I definitely feel so. Even in terms of the language, of course it's a Tamil language film to begin with, so the language primarily is Tamil, but the fact that it is set in Mumbai, in the middle of Mumbai, in one of the biggest slums of Mumbai, Dharavi, and the politicians who are from Mumbai, who are Marathi actors cast because it's, you know, Maharashtra, even then they speak in Tamil, and these are the kind of small things that should have been taken care of. Of course, this is only because the movie is a Tamil language movie, and most of the people who are going to watch it are from Tamil Nadu and the Tamil population in the world who love Rajinikanth. So therefore the movie has to be in Tamil primarily, but I feel like there should have been more of an element of Hindi, Marathi in the movie, because it is set in Mumbai, and they could have used the whole part where people from Tamil Nadu settle in one part of Dharavi, and how they kind of face the differentiation in terms of Bombay and in terms of the politicians approaching them. Things like that could have been thrown into the script, and maybe the character of the villain could have been given a better backstory as to why he is speaking Tamil in the first place, and, you know, how he knows that in the first place. So those kind of things I felt would have helped the movie a lot. So I think that justification was missing. Another thing that the director did, which is kind of different from the usual, is that he cut down the past elements, which is usually what we see in, you know, all these Thala movies, whether it's Ajit movies, whether it's Rajinikanth, Vijay. We always see a past element, you know, in these mass entertainers. There's a starting and then reach the point where we go into the flashback, and that was eliminated by the director, and in place of that he has put animated sequences. Some people might not like this because it seems like just cartoon, but I think that it definitely is something creative. It is something different. If we went back into the past and gave Rajinikanth a younger look and all of that, just like we did in Kabali and in many other movies, then this wouldn't be different. It would be stereotypical. And so I definitely feel that the fact that he put in animation was something worth it. The important lesson for any entertainer or mass entertainer or Thala entertainment movies that we see from Tamil Nadu, a good lesson to be learned from this movie is that there is no unnecessary romance which doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it feels like a separate track on its own for the most part. Especially in a lot of these commercial movies, the love angle is completely, you know, parallel, and it's just thrown in there because it has to thrown in there for glamour purposes. That was not there, and obviously it's because of Rajinikanth, the stage of life he's in and the age at which he's in, but I still feel that that's an important lesson. And the second one is that there's no unnecessary comedy track and comedians thrown in there to just, you know, make the audience laugh and to add commercial elements. So in that sense, it's a very realistically made movie which is true to its script rather than throwing in producer elements, I call it, in the script. So these are the kind of things that are good and must be appreciated, because even though it's one of the biggest movies and Pa Ranjit had to make a comeback from Kabali and please the audiences with this movie, which even in the poster seemed like a out and out commercial entertainer with a lot of laughs, he still remained true to the script, and I think that's something to learn from. But yet it could have been better, it could have been a few notches better. However, I think this movie was well done, and I'm going with 3.5 stars for Kaala. I hope you like this review. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and take care.